Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining today's Sunday service. So we'll go on and start with something to make everybody smile. Here we go.
Down. Okay.
Let's talk about something that ain't dangerous. How about this? Some things may be a little strange for us, but listen to this.
Yeah, we could start a new direction, affecting the future ahead, spreading smiles from miles, a new kind of trend.
Want a new style? How about this? Let's talk about something that's courageous. How about this?
Let's talk about something that's outrageous.
Put this at the top of your list.
Yeah, we can start a new direction, affecting the future ahead,
Spreading smiles for miles, a new kind of trend. Want a new style? Hey.
How about this?
Come on, hit me up with the pickup, y'all.
If you're stuck and gonna sit at home,
Live it up, live it up, live it up from
you're
here.
not alone. We can live this world on warranty.
Pick it up,
Pick it up, just pick it up. Take this shot with me. Spread a smile, not something else. 'Cause this world is really needing your help. Spread a smile and nothing more. And we'll show this world it can be restored. You wanna smile? How about this?
Oh, yeah.
If you're stuck and gonna sit at home, live it up, live it up, live it up with me. We can live this world while quarantined. Pick it up, just pick it up.
take this
Shot with me, yeah. Not something else. 'Cause this world is really needing your help. Spread a smile and nothing more. Nothing more. Show this world it can be restored. Staying well, staying strong. Keep moving on, keep moving on. How about this?
All right. Thank you. And we will just start with the Creed for the Church of Scientology, and then we'll go on with the sermon. Here we go.
We of the Church believe that all men of whatever race, color, or creed
were created with equal rights
that all men have inalienable rights,
to their own religious practices and their performance,
that all men have inalienable rights
to their own lives, that all men have inalienable rights
to their sanity,
that all men have inalienable rights
to their own defense,
that all men have inalienable rights
to conceive, choose, assist, or support their own organizations, churches, and governments.
that all men have inalienable rights to think freely, to talk freely,
to write freely their own opinions,
and to counter or utter
or write upon the opinions of others.
That all men have inalienable rights to the creation of their own kind.
That the souls of men have the rights of men.
That the study of the mind
and the healing of mentally caused ills
should not be alienated from religion
or condoned in non-religious fields.
And that no agency less than God
has the power to suspend or set aside these rights, overtly or covertly.
And we of the church believe
that man is basically good,
that he is seeking to survive,
that his survival depends upon himself and upon his fellows,
and his attainment of brotherhood with the universe. And we of the church believe
that the laws of God forbid man
to destroy his own kind,
to destroy the sanity of another,
to destroy or enslave another's soul,
to destroy or reduce the survival of one's companions or one's group.
And we of the church believe
that the spirit can be saved, and that the spirit alone may save or heal the body.
All right, thank you all. Actually, as you all have realized, today you are joining in a new Zoom account. This is an account that will be used by the church, by the Long Island Org, and it is a paid account, so they have all the features that a paid account has, so there is no limits in time and everything. However, because I just set this up, I most likely did not turn on the feature where you can join just from a web browser. That's why some of you were asked to download the application. So now that you made me aware of that, I will make sure to handle that. But let's go on with today's sermon. It's a little longer than usual sermon, but it is absolutely amazing. And I believe you will enjoy it immensely. So here we go. Confusion and control. All difficulties are fundamentally confusions. Given enough menace, enough unknown, a man ducks his head and tries to swing through it blindly. He has been overcome by confusions. Enough unsolved problems add up to a huge confusion. Every now and then on his job, enough conflicting orders bring the worker into a state of confusion. A modern plant can be so poorly managed that the entire thing appears to be a vast confusion to which no answer is possible. Luck is the usual answer one resorts to in a confusion. If the forces about one seem too great, one can always rely on his luck. By luck, we mean destiny, not personally guided. When one turns loose of an automobile wheel and hopes the car will stay on the road by luck, he is often disappointed. And so it is in life. Those things left to chance become less likely to work themselves out. One has seen a friend shutting his eyes to the bill collectors and gritting his teeth while he hopes that he will win at the races and solve all his problems. One has known people who handled their lives this way for years. Indeed, one of Dickens's great characters had the entire philosophy of waiting for something to turn up. But luck, while we grant that it is a potent element, it is only necessary amid a strong current of confusing factors. If one has to have luck to see him through, then it follows that one isn't any longer at his own automobile wheel, and it follows, too, that one is dealing with a confusion. A confusion can be defined as any set of factors or circumstances which do not seem to have any immediate solution. More broadly, a confusion in this universe is random motion. If you were to stand in heavy traffic, you would be likely to feel confused by all the motion whizzing around you. If you were to stand in a heavy storm with leaves and papers flying by, you would be likely to be confused. Is it possible to actually understand a confusion? Is there such thing as an anatomy of confusion? Yes, there is. If, as a switchboard operator, you had 10 calls hitting your board at once, you might feel confused. But is there any answer to the situation? If, as a shop foreman, you have 3 emergencies and an accident all at the same time, you might feel confused. But is there any answer to that? A confusion is only a confusion when all particles are in motion. A confusion is only a confusion so long as no factor is clearly defined or understood. Confusion is the basic cause of stupidity. To the stupid, all things, except the very simple ones, are confused. Thus, if one knew the anatomy of confusion, no matter how bright one might be, he would be brighter. If you have ever had to teach some young aspirant who was not too bright, you will understand this well. You attempt to explain how such and so works. You go over it and over it and over it, and then you turn him loose and he promptly makes a complete botch of it. He didn't understand, he didn't grasp it. You can simplify your understanding of his misunderstanding by saying very rightly, he was confused. 99% of all education fails when it fails on the grounds that the student was confused. And not only in the realm of the job, but in life itself. When failure approaches, it is born one way or another from confusion. To learn of machinery or to live life, one has to be able either to stand up to confusion or to take it apart. We have in Scientology a certain doctrine about confusion. It is called the doctrine of the stable datum. If you saw a great many pieces of paper whirling about a room, they would look confused until you picked out one piece of paper to be the piece of paper by which everything else was in motion. In other words, a confusing motion can be understood by conceiving one thing to be motionless. In a stream of traffic, all would be confusion unless you were to conceive one car to be motionless in relation to the other cars, and so to see others in relation to the one. The switchboard operator receiving 10 calls at once solves the confusion by labeling correctly or incorrectly one call as the first call to receive her attention. The confusion of 10 calls all at once becomes less confusing the moment she singles out one call to be answered. The shop foreman, confronted by 3 emergencies and an accident, needs only to elect his first target of attention to start the cycle of bringing about order again. Until one selects one datum, one factor, one particular in a confusion of particles, the confusion continues. The one thing selected and used becomes the stable datum for the remainder. Any body of knowledge, more particularly and exactly, is built from one datum. That is its stable datum. Invalidated, by which is meant to refute or discredit it, and the entire body of knowledge falls apart. A stable datum does not have to be the correct one. It is simply the one that keeps things from being in a confusion and on which others are aligned. Now, in teaching a young aspirant to be a machine, to use a machine, he failed to grasp your directions. If he did, because he lacked a stable datum. A fact had to be brought home to him first. Grasping that, he would grasp others. One is stupid then, or confused in any confusing situation, until he has fully grasped one fact or one item. Confusions, no matter how big and formidable they may seem, are composed of data or factors or particles. They have pieces. Grasp one piece and locate it thoroughly. Then see how the others function in relation to it, and you have studied the confusion, and relating other things to what you have grasped, you will soon have mastered the confusion in its entirety. In teaching a boy to run a machine, don't throw a torrent of data at him and then point out his errors. That's confusion to him. That makes him respond stupidly. Find some entrance point to his confusion. One datum. Tell him, this is a machine. It may be all the directions were flung at someone who had no real certainty, no real order of existence. This is a machine, you say. Then make him sure of it. Make him feel it. Fiddle with it. Push at it. This is a machine, tell him. And you'd be surprised how long it may take, but you'd be surprised as well how his certainty increases. Out of all the complexities he must learn to operate it, he must know one datum first. It is not even important which datum he first learns well. Beyond that, it is better to teach him a simple, basic datum. You show him what it does. You can explain to him the final product. You can tell him why he has been selected to run this machine. But you must make one basic datum clear to him, or else he will be lost in confusion. Confusion is uncertainty. Confusion is stupidity. Confusion is insecurity. When you think of uncertainty, stupidity, and insecurity, think of confusion, and you'll have it down pat. What then is uncertainty? I'll give that to you again. What then is certainty? Lack of confusion. What then is intelligence? Ability to handle confusion. What then is security? The ability to go through or around or to bring order to confusion. Certainty, intelligence, and security are lack of or ability to handle confusion. How does lack fit into confusion? Lack is the hope that some uncontrolled chance will get one through. Counting on lack is an abandonment of control. That's apathy. There is good control and bad control. The difference between them is certainty and uncertainty. Good control is certain, positive, predictable. Bad control is uncertain, variable, and unpredictable. With good control, one can be certain. With bad control, one is never certain. A foreman who makes a rule effective today, but not tomorrow, who makes George obey, but not James, is exercising bad control. In that foreman's wake will come uncertainty and insecurity, no matter what his personal attributes may be. Because there can be so much uncertain, stupid control, some of us begin to believe that all control is bad. But this is very far from true. Control is necessary if one would bring any order into confusions. One must be able to control things, his body, his thoughts, at least to some degree, to do anything, whatever. A confusion could be called an uncontrolled randomness. Only those who can exert some control over that randomness can handle confusions. Those who cannot exert control actually breed confusions. The difference between good and bad control then becomes more obvious. The difference between good and bad, vary here, is degree. A thorough positive control can be predicted by others. Therefore, it is good control. A non-positive, sloppy control cannot be predicted. Therefore, it is a bad control. Intention also has something to do with control. Control can be used for constructive purposes or destructive purposes. But you will discover that when destructive purposes are intended, bad control is used. Thus, there is a great deal to this entire subject of confusion. You may find it rather odd for confusion itself to be used here as a target, but you will find that it is an excellent common denominator to all that we consider evil in life. And if one can become master of confusions, his attention is freed for constructive activity. So long as one is being confused by confusions, all he can think about are destructive things. What he wants to do most is to destroy the confusion. So let us then learn how to destroy confusions. And this, we find, is a rather simple thing. When all particles seem to be in motion, hold one and see how the others move according to it. And then you will find less confusion present. With one adopted as a stable datum, others can be made to fall in line. Thus, an emergency, a machine, a job, or life itself can be viewed and understood, and one can be free. Work plays a large and important part in our lives, but for many, it is also a source of anxiety and confusion. Scientology fundamentals which apply to this part of life can be found in The Problems of Work, a book by L. Ron Hubbard. Read this book and use the wisdom it contains to improve your life. So, and this is today's pretty amazing sermon. For me, amazing. I use this concept every single day in my life. From the moment where I wake up, where I have a ton of activities for the whole day, where I have to, let's say, identify one that I'm starting with, and then I start put things in order, to when I have tons of emails in front of me every single day to answer to and targets to handle, where I just start from somewhere. I pick one and I keep going. And, you know, obviously LRH says it doesn't have to be the correct one. It can even be an incorrect one as long as it is one, a stable datum. You know, by time and by doing this over and over in different parts of life, you get to select even a more correct one as that stable datum. But also, it's so important how this plays out to certainty and uncertainty and good control and bad control in life. And him saying how good control is certain, positive, and predictable, and how many times people that we have around us, family members, friends, employees, co-workers, how many times we do things that they may be considered a little bit bad controlled, a little bit unpredictable, and how that is so much related to the concept of confusion, and how by creating a better control, using the principles of handling confusion, you can create greater predictability, greater certainty for you and your environment, the people around you. So I think it's pretty awesome concept here. And that leads to gaining, at the end of the day, greater freedom. Okay, so open mics, I guess. You can unmute yourselves and you can share anything you like. And I think that Keith is trying to share something, but we cannot hear him.
Oh, I'm here.
Okay.
No, great. Again, every week it's been great. You know, you don't stop to think about these things sometimes. And it just reminds you, because of course we've all heard this sermon before, or we've read this. And I almost knew what the next sentence was going to be when you said it. But you don't really look at it sometimes in your day-to-day life. You know, well, what's the problem here? What's going on? And to be reminded about this, that you need a stable datum, or one of your employees do. It's a great reminder, so I appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it too.
Yeah.
Anybody else who would like to share anything on this? I don't know if, oh, you know what, guys? I see everybody muted here who have called in from phone lines. Just in case you don't know how to unmute yourself, I will attempt to unmute you, in which case you can say something if you choose so. You don't have to, but if you would like to share something, you can. So I have unmuted everybody from my side, so you're not muted right now. So if you like to share something, you can.
Yeah, it's quite amazing, that piece attack. And it, you know, your head's spinning, you just pick one stable datum and you go for it. You know, you get it done and things are stabilized. I mean, Rod's amazing, and there's so much to it. I mean, what can I say? I keep raving about. I'm doing the first American ACC, and it's more than incredible. It's beyond incredible. He looks at everything. It's a whole new viewpoint above the basics. It just enhances your understanding dramatically of what's going on here. Anyhow, that was my 2 cents.
Thank you. And if you want, I can see how even us as a church and the management have applied this concept in this coronavirus pandemic situation. When everything was so crazy out there and so much confusion and so much stuff from the media, I mean, for us, there was a stable datum. It was the concepts and principles of the way to happiness. And if you remember, that's how things started. The very first thing that was, that management directed our attention to was the way to happiness, which discusses stable datum as a stable datum, how to take care of the body. And then, of course, all of the other things and all the other technology and public service announcements and everything on how to handle things in the work environment and, cleaning things and this and that came about. But the way to happiness was used as a stable datum right from the beginning. So anyway, I think it's an incredible piece of technology, especially when you see it from the points of view also of certainty and uncertainty and good control and bad control.
Well, I think we still need more stable datums because things are still in such a state of confusion in society right now. I mean, will the kids go back to school? Will the colleges be open? Will they be able to attend classes regularly? Do they have to wear masks? It's still a lot of stuff going on with this. And so we should apply it to this situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Anybody else? Any other comments or anything? All right. Obviously, you have all of these websites, the Keep Well and the Stay Well, the Scientology.org Stay Well and Scientology TV Keep Well, and the public service announcements that you guys are following. And before we go on with any other announcements, I will just listen or see personal integrity. So here we go.
What is true for you is what you have observed yourself. And when you lose that, you have lost everything. What is personal integrity? Personal integrity is knowing what you know. What you know is what you know. And to have the courage to know and say what you have observed. And that is integrity. And there is no other integrity. Of course, we can talk about honor, truth, nobility, all these things as esoteric terms. But they would all be covered very well if what we really observed was what we observed. That we took care to observe what we were observing. That we always observed to observe. And not necessarily maintaining a skeptical attitude, a critical attitude, or an open mind. Not necessarily maintaining these things at all. But certainly maintaining sufficient personal integrity and sufficient personal belief and confidence in self and courage that we can observe what we observe and say what we have observed. Nothing in Scientology is true for you unless you have observed it. And it is true according to your observation. That is all.
Okay. And at this point, let's get into announcements. Wendy?
Hi. Okay, so we have the OTC meeting tomorrow evening at 6:30. And then tonight, actually at 5 o'clock, there is an event for New Haven. It's a New York Alliance event. So if anybody wants to attend that and help, New Haven is doing their event. And we had ours last week. And then this coming, I think it's this coming Saturday, there's an IAS event. I don't have all the details, so please check your email for that. And then we're going to have a Go OT briefing, not this Monday, but the following Monday at 7 o'clock. So it was successful last time with Mr. Raby, and we're going to have another one of those. It will be a different speaker. I think it'll probably be actually me speaking about what I did on my successful actions. When I arrived at Flag, I had my entire bridge paid for. So what my successful actions were in order to get onto OT7 successfully. So that will be not this Monday again, but the following Monday at 7 p.m. And that's basically all I've got right now.
Awesome. Thank you. And, yes, those of you who have a reason at this point to arrive at Flag, New York is now one of the states that have been opened for Flag, and there is a 2-week quarantine, a 14-day quarantine that is implemented with that. So when you arrive, you have to do a 2-week quarantine and some testing that they do for you before you start services. This is at least what is happening right now. Okay. All right. Any other questions from anyone?
No, but the org is getting ready to open. I think it's not long. My opinion is it's going to happen very shortly. So you'll probably be hearing from us as soon as I hear. The other thing is, maybe somebody gave me the correct incorrect information, but I had heard it was a 1 week wait to New York, but, you know, check with your flag service consultant. It used to be 2 weeks, but I think they might have changed it to 1 week. But, you know, check.
Mitch, I also heard 1 week, but I believe that was changed to 2 weeks because Florida state law requires a 2-week quarantine from New York.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
I confirmed that too. Yeah, it's 2 weeks at this point.
Yeah, and the only other thing I say all the time, you know, get on with your basics. You'll love it. It's the truth about life in this universe. It'll blow your mind. So do it. Okay, and that's my 25 cents.
Awesome. Very good. Thank you. And let me, if there is nothing else, then I'll just read you the Scientology prayer for total freedom. Okay, here we go. May the author of the universe enable all men to reach an understanding of their spiritual nature. May awareness and understanding of life expand so that all may come to know the author of the universe. And may others also reach this understanding which brings total freedom. At this time, we think of those whose liberty is threatened, of those who have suffered imprisonment for their beliefs, of those who are enslaved or martyred, and for all those who are brutalized, trapped, or attacked. We pray that human rights will be preserved so that all people may believe and worship freely, so that freedom will once again be seen in our land. Freedom from war and poverty and want, freedom to be, freedom to do, and freedom to have. Freedom to use and understand man's potential, a potential that is God-given and God-like. And freedom to achieve that understanding and awareness that is total freedom. May God let it be so. LRH. So thank you all for attending today's Long Island Org Sunday service. Let's go out there and have a very, very productive week. And let's remember also whatever our host is, either members of the OTC or org members or parishioners, let's go out there and produce some things also for our Long Island org. Okay, see you all next Sunday with another awesome Sunday service. Take care.
Great job, Jimmy. Great
Thank
job.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy.